Some recipes are just bullshit, Eric, even if they're packaged up in a really nice bow.
I don't know where this is coming from, but okay.
Some recipes just aren't good. And, right? Like I'm reading this cookbook and everything looks so good. And I thought there's no way that if I try one thing, which is pizza inspired, it won't be good. Even you agreed.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was just not what I expected.
No.
And after somebody told me to salt the top of it, it became worse. But
I am sorry about that.
like put sugar on it to counterbalance it.
All right. So guys, we're talking about this book called Italian Snacking, which I heard the lady on another podcast, the lady who wrote the book, talking about it and talking about Italian street food and like how kind of diverse it is depending on the region. So I was like eating this up, you know? So I get the book on my Libby app because, you know, if you don't have a Libby app, look it up. You can get free books on your phone.
Okay, you have to have a library card. I haven't had a library card since like 1988.
Well, you're missing out. You're missing out. So I got the book and I'm glad I didn't purchase it because I think I'm let down. There's one more recipe I want to try here, but this one recipe really let me down. And what is it even called? I can't remember.
I don't even know.
Pizza Parigina, which translates into Parisian pizza, which I had never heard of. Had you?
No.
So I was excited, right? Because the way they describe it, it's like a hybrid between like just pizza and like a sandwich. And I was like, who doesn't like pizzas and sandwiches?
Well, I mean, I'd eat a pizza sandwich.
You know what I mean? So, okay, this is the thing. This is how it works. You grab pizza dough, which I bought pre-made, which I don't think is the fault of this not being good.
No, it's not.
I must stipulate. You roll it, you put it in like a 9x13 pan, and then you put out the pizza dough, you flatten it up like the bottom. You put your sauce, which I also purchased, which also do not fault for this not being good. And then you put cheese and sliced up ham. You use different ingredients. And then you top it with a sheet of puff pastry. What? What's not to like, Eric?
It sounds delicious. I put double cheese in mine.
Did you?
Yeah, I put cheese on the bottom and then I put prosciutto and cheese on the top.
And so he did prosciutto. So, okay, I did. And I did like a sweet ham. And when mine came out, I was kind of like, I'm missing salt. There was a salt element that I didn't get. At first I thought, okay, this is good. Even the kids were like, oh, because it's like the puff pastry and you bite into it and it's crumbly. And who doesn't love, if you grew up, especially in Miami, puff pastry has like a space in your heart that can never be, because we have these little pastries that we call pastelitos and people eat them here for breakfast all the time. And they're filled either like savory or sweet. So that texture is something that we're familiar with at my house. But then you keep biting and then you hit pizza, man, and it's thick. And I tried to make it thin.
Me too. I really spread out the pizza dough. I don't know what you're getting out of that, but it's just pizza dough.
I don't know. Is there any way to redeem this shit, you think?
No, there's not. It's a fucking disaster. So, I mean, you know, it's funny. The flavors are there because it's, you know, like mine was prosciutto and mozzarella and, you know, and pizza dough and puff pastry. And I think prosciutto and mozzarella make a good pizza. Or I think prosciutto and mozzarella make a good pastelito, which is puff pastry in it. I think that's delicious. But it was the puff pastry and the pizza dough. You know, okay, here's my thing. When I order pizza, I like a lot of toppings on it. Do you? Yeah. So I feel that the pizza dough is a vessel to deliver toppings into my mouth. Okay, does that make any sense? So
yes. Do you like a pan pizza?
I like a pan pizza too. So I even like a thicker pizza. Okay. And so I feel that this recipe was a lot of breading and not a lot of the good stuff. Right. Not a lot of flavor. And so even though Mariella fucked it up even more by telling me to put salt on it, and I was Madi, I'm using prosciutto, and prosciutto's like super salty to begin with. I spent like $1 bazillion on prosciutto to stuff this thing with. And thank God I took my lisinopril because it would have been a heart attack. But anyways, I digress. I ended up having to put sugar on it to counterbalance it. So gross. Well, I mean, sugar like on it is like kind of like a pastelito because it always has like a sugary layer. But so towards the end, I had like this ass load of this pizza stuff in my home. No one was touching it. And I just ended up eating the top part. And then that was about it. And then I had no other way to reuse all this. I had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, garbage.
It ended up being, and I hate wasting food. Like, I hate wasting food.
You really do. Way more than me even.
Yeah, I hate wasting food. And I even went to the pizza section at Wegmans and had them give me fresh dough because all their dough was frozen solid. So they went and gave me fresh dough and everything like that. And again, I did not like this one. It's redeemable, but I don't like this one.
I agree. And a lot of people seem to like it. When you look it up, people are like, oh my God, hard on for the,
Sometimes I think people like things because it's trending and it's not always good. They just like it because it's a trending thing.
Like, is this really something they eat in the streets of like Napoli? Is it Napoli? I can't think of the word.
Sure.
What's the word for that place? Oh my God.
Napoli. Yeah, Napoli.
Did I say it right? Oh
I think
my God.
you did.
Neapolitan pizza. Yeah, Napoli. Look at me knowing things without knowing them. So yeah, like I can't imagine people like walk around eating this shit. And that's another thing I learned by this woman's interview. They're like, they think it's sacrilegious to walk around with street food. But this is coming from the people who put fucking puff pastry on top of pizza. So now I can't trust them anymore.
It's street food. Street food, I assume, is meant to be walked around with. You sell it on the street. Right?
No, they have chairs and shit apparently next to their little freaking ragamuffin stations, and then people sit and eat it like it's Sunday dinner. It's supposed no. I have a lot of issues. Okay, I'm very upset.
No, it's a handheld food, so it's if you can eat the food with your fucking hand,
eat it with your fucking hand while you walk.
Eat it with your hand. You don't have to sit at a restaurant with it. It's like a slice of pizza. Like just grab it and go.
Right. No. Okay. So they think that we're horrible here in America because we do
I
that.
think she's fucking horrible for making this abomination.
All right. So I don't think you should try this. I mean, you could do whatever you want, right? I mean, it's always good to like try something and then talk shit about it because otherwise, what would we do here at Food FAQ if it wasn't that?
Right. Go to work. You know, that's about it.
But I decided to kind of like redeem this idea by making it full on puff pastry. Puff pastry on the bottom, puff pastry on top. And I changed it up a little bit because here in Miami, we have something, and some bakeries have something called pizza pastel, which is like a pizza pastry. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they'll layer ham. Usually it's like ground ham. Mm-hmm. And they'll layer it with like cream cheese or ricotta. I'm not sure. I can't tell because some places differ. And they'll put the pizza sauce, and then they'll have like the sweet little stuff on top, the simple syrup. Mm-hmm. So I did that. This is what I did, you guys. I got cream cheese. I softened it a little bit. I put it on a thin layer at the bottom of my puff pastry. Then I topped it with a little bit of pizza sauce. Really, maybe 2 tablespoons, maybe 3, because I did a half a sheet. Don't put too much because you don't want it to be soggy. It's just like a little hint of flavor.
Right.
And then I went ahead and put on top some ham slices to your heart's content, however thick you want it. And then I mixed a little bit of egg with ricotta. Like I got 1 egg and I beat it and I put in maybe half of it into the ricotta, let's say like a 1.5 cups. And then I reserved the other half an egg to do an egg wash on top. I spread that on top of the ham. And then I put the other slice of puff pastry on top to kind of make a sandwich. I did my egg wash. I cut a couple slits in the pastry so it wouldn't like get too gigantic. I popped it in my air fryer because I can bake in it. And I put it in 400 for about, I want to say 20 minutes, maybe a little less. Mm-hmm. And then, Eric, this is the thing, right? I made simple syrup in the microwave and you were telling me how like not good this is. You're wrong.
I'm just saying it's not good because you got to be very careful with what apparatus you use inside.
Okay, so if you don't know how to microwave, maybe you shouldn't be in the kitchen.
Oh my God. People, listen. I mean, do what you want.
Look, simple syrup is 1-to-1 ratio, right? So what I did was I got like 1/8 cup of water and I put it in my favorite ceramic mug and I popped it in the microwave for about, I don't know, 35 minutes. It was hot, but not too hot, right? Then I added
35 seconds.
Correct. Did I say
35
minutes?
You said
Apparently
minutes.
I'm one of the morons I'm talking about.
Correct.
Yeah, I did that. And then I added the 1/8 cup of sugar and I stirred it around. And when I saw like it wasn't all dissolving, I popped it back in for another few seconds until it all dissolved. And I made simple syrup in the microwave and it was magic. And I will be doing that from now on because
your microwave.
But like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, what's the big deal?
it has to do with the fact that so water, water boils, okay?
Hmm.
But it has to do with the fact that when sugar boils, it's like, think of like, it's almost like lava and it attaches itself to the item. So it doesn't wash away like water does. And so what happens is you are more prone to breaking the item in your microwave, and you're more prone to things like that.
Okay,
So
so
that's where things happen. But I mean, it worked for
maybe,
you, and I'm very excited about that.
maybe if you put the sugar in with the water and you pop it in all
Yeah,
together,
that's true. That's true
that
too.
could happen. I
That's
could see
true
that
too.
happening.
That's true too.
But if you do it in stages like I did, I think you're much less likely to have molten lava,
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
so be careful, right? I'll always be careful because you are dealing with hot sugar, and hot sugar is a very painful kitchen ingredient.
Yeah, it's horrible when it splatters on
Yeah,
you.
it really does hurt a lot. But you can do this if you're careful, and you have to make sure you're not heating it in very big increments. It's like melting chocolate, I guess I could say, compared to in the microwave. So you do that, and then you brush the top of it, and then I popped it back in the air fryer for 2 minutes just so it can get like crunchy. It's freaking delicious, Keter.
No, it looks really good.
So if you have puff pastry, let's say you bought puff pastry and you have one sheet left, you can do this, and it'll serve you up like at least 6 or 9 little pieces of ham and cheese, ricotta goodness. It's like lasagna and a puff pastry almost, I guess.
It's very good. It looks good. And you've given me the pizza pastel before. And so it is good.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know. If you've had this and you think it's delicious, let me know, because I don't know. I can't really envision what we did wrong. I don't know.
I'm wondering almost if, this is what I'm thinking, that maybe it would be better this way. If you were to make like, okay, so let's say we used the pizza dough on the bottom of this abomination of a street food that you hold and walk with. I'm wondering if like, let's say you took the pizza dough, right? So you buy a ball of pizza dough at the grocery store, cut that pizza dough in half and make it very thin and spread it out over the 9x13. So where you have a thin crust pizza at this point. Now, granted, I assume thin crust pizza and regular pizza have different ingredients. And I've never made homemade pizza, and I'm not going to when you can buy it at a grocery store. But I'm wondering if you do that, or if you make the dough really thin and maybe pre-cook it just for a couple moments first, just to get that kick started into the cooking. I don't know, but I'm wondering if you have to make that pizza like a thin crust pizza, like cracker thin crust pizza.
Paper thin.
That might be really good.
Mine wasn't that thick though, I must also say. How much is that? Like a quarter of an inch?
I'm wondering if it needs to be thinner. Like a thin crust pizza. Like think of like just a really thin crust pizza.
I've made pizza, like a lot of pizza. There's a Brooklyn pizza people that they have a very famous recipe on the New York Times. I forget what the pizza place is called, but if you Google like Brooklyn pizza New York Times recipe, you'll find it. Mm-hmm. It's a fabulous recipe, and it's very thin crust. And I don't know. I don't know. But
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, is that you do a thin crust pizza, use a tiny bit of sauce, because I didn't use a lot of sauce.
Me neither.
Use a tiny bit of sauce, because I figured it was going to have issues with the puff pastry at that point. So use a thin crust pizza, a tiny bit of sauce, maybe get a little hearty with your, it's not the toppings, the middle part, and then put the puff pastry over it. I think you could do like a whole array of things.
Maybe if it was meatier, I would maybe have.
Maybe if it was meatier, yeah. And just was there. I almost want to cut my dough like in half. I have another ball of dough. I might try it this weekend.
You should do that, and then get back to me,
because I have another ball of dough and I have another sheet of puff pastry. So maybe I'll do it this weekend.
Maybe it's redeemable.
I don't think so.
But anyway, you guys, even we have fails, and we love sharing them with you. But we never blame ourselves. Have you noticed? It's not us.
Well, because it's we follow recipes. If this is our own recipe we made up, we could like absolutely not even broadcast it. But we have to do our own, like when you follow a recipe, and we could be doing it wrong. But the thing is, you and I watched a bunch of freaking TikToks on this.
And YouTube. We did it. I went to YouTube University as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Anyway.
I like your idea better with both sides of puff pastry. That sounds really good. And it's easier to work with.
I think so.
Do it.
I say you make a pastelito instead and you call it a day. Yeah, and you can eat it and walk, because we're not going to get mad.
Yeah, because it's street food, y'all. Walk with it.
All right, you guys. We hope you enjoyed our little rant and that you go ahead and share us with your friends and you leave us a review in your favorite podcast player and send us an email if you know that this is actually good and Eric and I are just losers who fucked it up. I'm willing. I'm open to learning.
I'm open to learning it because I want to really like this.
I want to too because like who doesn't want, like, all of it sounds so good.
Right.
But all right. Okay, you guys, we're waiting for you to correct us and we love you and we hope that you have a fabulous week.
Bye-bye.
What was that?
Shut the fuck up.